How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today it's just a bit of a messing around video. I wanted to do a bit of a chilled one. A few people have been saying about putting a TUZ-16 in the sideboard, and there was a mission I wanted to try anyway. It's just what's it called? Rescuer, the North Tributary. Yeah, so I wanted to put a TUZ in a sideboard. I went and bought the Antarctic back for a little bit. Pain in the ass with the cranes at the minute. They keep auto-extending when there's like a lot of weight, so I just lifted the crane arm really high so it didn't really mess with. I was trying to get it in the sideboard, but yeah, of course I can never set off without a loaf. So to be honest, I thought about this the other week and I've not tried it so far, so I wanted to give it a go. See what I mean? Look, the crane is not me doing it. I'm trying to pull back on the crane and shorten like the boom arm length or whatever the hell you call it. And it was just auto-extending by itself. And the loaf doesn't even weigh soddle really, obviously not compared to most things. I wouldn't say it's the lightest in the game, but it can't be that far off. So yeah, what I did though, stuck a winch from the middle of the Antarctic to the front of the loaf, and it just, to be honest, all of them sort of fit pretty nicely. That's what she said. The loaf kind of presses down in the back of the TUZ, but just about locks its wheels behind its roof. The TUZ does fit pretty nicely into the sideboard. Because it's about the same width and everything, it doesn't... Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. You don't really need to use a winch on it. I mean, I suppose I've got like 2 in 1 because I've used the winch to pull the loaf down. It's kind of holding them... You can see the suspension on the TUZ is pretty squidged. And yeah, what did I sell? I sold the Derry 4520. I've still been having a bit of a play around with it. I need to save up still about another $1 million, I think, to buy the rest of the truck, so I own every truck at the same time. And then there's upgrades and everything on top of that, so still going to take me a little while, but yeah, nearly there. But yeah, I fancied giving this another go on Lake Kovd. One thing I have to say, it isn't rapid, and I wish it was a bit quicker, but it does generally get across snow, because it's got nice big tyres. It's a shame though, it doesn't have a saddle high or anything. I suppose obviously it's a bit, the wheels are a bit too massive according to the game, but I don't know. I reckon you could still stick one on there, especially the yeah, the saddle high with a gooseneck. I don't think it'd be that bad if it was tipping up a little bit. So far, going along the roads, going pretty well. What I was going to do is follow the whole road around and go the normal way I've been going to the train station and stuff. But I looked on the map and I can basically cut all the way across this ice, so I was like, well, I'll do that. We'll give it a go. Obviously, the main thing I don't really want to do is what I do about now. Is jump over stones on one side. I have got 2 roof racks with me though. Obviously the loaf's got all that stuff. TUZ's got a little one on it. If I wasn't going to bring the loaf, I could put like a van repair body, I suppose, on the TUZ, but if I'm honest, because this Antarctic isn't very fast, it doesn't really take a load of damage or anything, so it wasn't one of them where, you know, I figured I'd need a hell of a lot. If I'm honest, I didn't really need the TUZ. Just fancied yeah, triple stacking. I was thinking about, I tried quadruple stacking the other week. What did I do? I tried to put a twin steer on a trailer, but then the crane wouldn't lift it because it just kept messing around and running out of power. And I did kind of get it on in the end, but it was just impractical, and it was like, yeah, I wasn't happy with it. But I was going to try and put a twin steer on a trailer, and then a dolphin on the twin steer, and then a loaf in the dolphin. But then I probably could do 5, because I could put the TUZ in the dolphin, and then do, like, yeah, this sort of setup really. But until / unless they sort the cranes out, then there's yeah, not a whole lot I can do. Going along here, it skids around a bit in the ice, it's getting a little bit sketchy, but it's not too bad. Considering how narrow... In fact, I don't know necessarily if this Antarctic is narrow. Like, it is overall, like, relative to itself, but I don't think it's particularly narrow compared to most of the trucks in the game. It's just because it sits so tall and everything that, yeah, it'd be nice if it was wider. Apparently it's as narrow as it is because then, I don't know, there's certain like width limits. I think it can go down normal roads and all stuff like that. But, I mean, it's kind of set up for the Antarctic. I don't know how many nicely paved, measured out roads there is on the Antarctic, but I wouldn't have thought there was too many. So anyway, quick little cutting across the ice. And this is where I'm like convinced it's the ice has like got stronger or more trollish in the last week or two, because I suppose I have got, well, I've at least tried it with a loaf on my back before. I've never tried it with this setup, but yeah, you can see I'm practically stuck, and this would have been, I did get out eventually, but this would have been the first time I've ever got stuck in the ice with the Antarctic. Even though it's been sketchy, I don't believe, I mean, I've not had that many goes, but I don't believe I've ever, yeah, got stuck in the ice with the Antarctic. One thing I do like is obviously because it's articulated steering. Once you are in the ice, like half the problem with the ice, once you brake it, it turns up sort of sideways and lies along the side of your vehicle, and then it can glitch into your wheels and all sorts and locks your wheels up, or just like locks into the fuel tank. Because this thing is articulated, you can kind of wiggle around a bit and brake like the ice sort of to the left and right of you. Give yourself a bit of breathing room to climb out of there. So I cut most of that out because it's just basically going through the ice again, and yeah, it's about the same as the first one. Yeah, I've still got other video. I was going to do number 8 on my top favourite vehicles, and then I was reading through, and to be honest, I've got a list on my phone of like all the vehicles, and I wrote a list of like my top 10 and stuff, but in the end I'm going to do top 10 trucks and top 5 scouts, I reckon. Or around top 5, it might be top 4, top 5 scouts. So I did separate lists, but when I originally wrote them, I did sort of some of them together, and yeah, long story short, I've got a scout that was in my truck list, so I've removed it. You can probably guess which one it is. Good old loaf. So even though I'm down to like vehicle number 8, I'm kind of missing a vehicle now, which is all good. I'll sort it out. There's still plenty of vehicles I can rustle around with, but yeah, I was so busy focusing on like which one to chop off the top 10 because I had 11 to choose from, but I kind of forgot to yeah, look back at the first lot. But I'm definitely happy with all the vehicles I've got left to come up in the top 10. I'm happy with them, but I'll see about number 8 or whatever. I might either skip it for a little bit, or I'm going to have a little test of the other vehicles and see how I feel. But yeah, like I say, it's irrelevant really. It's you're still going to see my favourite vehicles. Now, I'm not sure if this one will make the cut, but I'll be honest though, I do dislike this less than I used to, which I know isn't the best compliment in the world, but I really never used to like this Antarctic thing at all. When I reviewed it, there was kind of, yeah, a few little things where I was like, well, it's still an expensive toy, and I wouldn't recommend it until you've got plenty of dough and you've bought a lot of other good things, but every now and then, it's, yeah, good for a little laugh. Well, to be honest, if it was free, it would help. Like, vehicles that are free, at least you haven't had to pay for them, and it's kind of like, cool, I've been given this and I'll test it out. When you have to pay 200 grand for something like this, or the Derry, it's like, I expect more for the money. But I honestly, like, I don't know, this thing has grown on me a little bit, if I'm honest. Anyway, rolled over finally, which, to be fair, I got further into the mission than I thought. I knew I'd roll over at some point. That's why the TUZ has got a advanced, no, sorry, not the advanced, the autonomous on it, and I kept the advanced on my OG loaf. And normally I'd just recover at the minute, because the winches have been all weak lately. Bloody hell, just ejaculated a rock. Don't type that on the internet. Dangerous place these days. I tried to compare the meerkat the other day. I tell you, I compared someone's meerkat, but she did not give me cheaper car insurance. If anything, I'd say it went up. Anyway, loaf's goddamn professional, loaf approved, horse of a vehicle, get yourself a loaf. Of course he got out of it, 100% record. Flip the TUZ, but I mean, it eats them for breakfast. This is what we want to know, can it flip the Antarctic? See, when it does that articulation, it's not necessarily good, but see, it's just a professional. That's what I like about the loaf. I can dig the bumper into that rock if I need to flip that, but I could probably also just drive up there if I wanted to. And we're off. Job's a good one. Dumped the TUZ16. I took the fuel out of it from the roof rack, really. Repairs, but there's only like 10 points to repair on this also. There's like practically nothing, so yeah, we're all good, ready to go. Like I say, this mission is, I don't know, I wouldn't say easy mode because it's pretty hard terrain to drive over compared to some maps, but it's a pretty simple contract. It's, I suppose, one use of it, if you did it early on when you got the map, it leads you to where the F750 is, but, or near enough. Other than that though, yeah, it's just a pretty sort of standard simple mission really, so yeah, it'd be nice if there was a few more like them special objective trailers and that to cart around, but we'll see. I'm not sure when that next update's coming out, but it can't be too long now, surely, because it's been on the test server for a while. But anyway, until then, I've still got plenty of bits and bobs that I want to do. Obviously, my favourite vehicles, favourite scouts. I'm going to do worst vehicles. I might also do, a few people said they wouldn't mind like the best vehicle in each category, so I might do something like that. I probably won't do an individual video for each one of them if I've already done my favourite trucks, but yeah, I mean, I've still got plenty to get up to, as and when I've got the time and everything to try stuff out each night. But tonight, to be honest, I just wanted a pretty chilled, simple video. I slept like crap last night. I was pretty damn tired all night tonight, and then yeah, so I was half asleep anyway. I've been watching then I'd ever seen them, I can't remember the dude's name at the minute. It's like Jerry Springer. I mean, what a goddamn legend. It's like You Are / You Are Not the Father. Fucking hell, some of them, man. Like, you do watch them and think things could definitely be worse. There's definitely some maniacs out there. There was one with like dating horror story sort of things. There was like some footballer guy and some woman invited him back to this hotel, and then she filmed it. Like, she set a camera up, and which kind of is the first giveaway anyway, that would be like, that was very convenient, but she then started attacking him in the hopes that he'd hit her back or something, like try and get him Me Too'd to get a payout. Right, nutters. I'm just over here trying to get me wand. Speaking of me wand, you'll see a magic trick. I'll pull a rabbit out your hat. See, that's why I just stay in. Just be shy. I don't say any of this shit in real life. Just on these videos when I'm talking bollocks. It did remind me though, but it was about like horror stories. I remember a mate of mine years ago telling me he downloaded that Tinder and he ended up talking to some girl on there, and to be fair, she didn't look anything like she'd sent in the pictures, so she kind of did bring this on herself. But anyway, he got talking to her and they arranged to meet, and he was just telling me, like, this was after that night, and he said, yeah, as he sort of came around the corner a bit and pulled up, I think she was just about ready to grab the door handle. He sort of looked out the window and could see that she looks absolutely nothing like the picture she'd sent in any way, shape or form, let's say. And so he said he just panicked and floored it. But then when he looked back in front of him, he realised he was flooring it down a dead end. So then he slammed on, and the tyres must have screeched. And then, because it was really narrow, he said he had to do like a 19-point turn just down the road from her. And then as he got back round, he started driving off, and she sort of stepped out into the road, ready to get in the car again. And he just floored it again, and it was like, I was fucking laughing when he was telling me, but she must have just been there the whole time, like, what's he doing? Has he hit the accelerator instead of the brake, or is he showing off, or is he just turning around, or nope, he's burning off again? It's like, Jesus Christ, I ain't got time for any of that. So I just avoid it all. But yeah, it did make me laugh. Like I said, not being harsh or anything, but it's she kind of, if you're gonna send pictures that are that false, then you're kind of setting yourself up. He's trying to catfish him. He was having none of it. He was off. But yeah, it did make me laugh. Anyway, back to this before we're at the end. I mean, to be fair, this is, considering the ice has been pretty goddamn trollish for the last week or so, I assume it can't be too long until they add this new map and everything, because it's felt like in the last week or so there's been a lot of little, I wouldn't say stealth patches, because, well, they possibly are, but then I assume there's like unintended consequences of those patches. Like I said, just little things that keep changing, like the crane strength, the winch strength, how trollish the ice is and all sorts. There seems to be more changes recently, and somebody said there is still some bugs on the test server, so maybe they're yeah, trying to iron them out before they release it, which is fair enough. I suppose I'd rather it released working than, you know, sort of buggy and patchy, but yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, finished that. It was about £3 I think. Again, it shrinks the screen so I can't really see, but got it done. And then yeah, that's about it. Got my Voron stuck though.
Tone, put that big ass size 13 on and kick it for the homies.
Oh no, speak to me, Loaf. See, it's all good. Flip the Voron. Voron got the Loaf out, Loaf got the Voron out. Now he's going for the big fish. Because he's a goddamn professional. Get yourself a Loaf. Anyway, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.